You wake up choking on cold air, not in a bed, not in a room, on hard ground. Your cheek is pressed against damp earth, and something heavy crushes your chest. For one blind second you think this is a dream. Then a horn blasts through the dark. Deep, violent, close. You flinch so hard your whole body locks. Voices explode around you. Men shouting in a language your mind should not understand, yet somehow you do. Boots pound past your head. Metal hits metal. A hand grabs your shoulder and shakes you hard. Up now. You roll over and stare into a face streaked with dirt, fear and candlelight from a dying torch. He's wearing armor. Real armor. Segment after segment of iron plates over red cloth. His breath smokes in the freezing dawn. So does yours. You try to speak, but your mouth is dry. Your heart is already racing before you even know why. Then you see it, beside you. A shield, a gladius, a helmet with worn cheek guards. Not props, not costume. Used, scarred, heavy. The horn sounds. Again, louder this time, and the man who woke you is already moving. "Formation, move!" he yells. In the distance, beyond the mist, thousands of feet are marching, and whatever is coming is already too close. You force yourself upright, and the world tilts. The helmet feels wrong in your hands, too real, too cold, too solid. The shield is heavier than it looks, dragging your arm down until your shoulder burns. All around you, men are rising from blankets thrown over mud and straw, fastening. Belts with shaking fingers, grabbing spears, cursing, praying, spitting into the dirt. No one looks calm. That terrifies you more than the noise. The air stinks of wet leather, wood smoke, sweat, and the sour edge of fear. Somewhere nearby, a mule screams. Somewhere farther off, someone is crying out for a brother who is not answering. You turn in circles, desperate for something familiar. There is nothing. No roads, no lights, no engines. Only a Roman camp breaking into panic under a sky that has not decided whether it will become morning or remain a storm-colored night. Your fingers brush the engraving on the shield boss. You do not know this man's name, but this was his. Now it is yours. A centurion storms past, barking orders, vine staff in hand, eyes hard as iron. He points toward the gate. "Line up, shields front, the attack is starting now." Attack. The word lands like a stone in your stomach. This is not training. This is not ceremony. This is the moment before men die. And you are one of them unless you learn how to move before the next horn calls. You stumble into line because everyone else does. Instinct is borrowed here. You have none of your own. Men locked together, shoulder to shoulder, shields overlapping, breath coming fast, jaws tight. Someone shoves your elbow higher, another slams the rim of your shield into position. No one explains. They do not have time. Through the opening between helmets, you finally see beyond the camp walls, trees, fog, a slope, descending into pale grey emptiness. Then movement inside that mist, fast, too fast, dark shapes weaving between trunks, not one enemy, many. The realization hits in fragments. You are not watching history, you are trapped inside it. A Roman soldier on the edge of battle, somewhere far from home, standing in mud before dawn, with men who believe discipline is the only thing separating order from death. You hear names shouted: Eagle, Cohort, Standard, Left Flank. You hear the word barbarian hissed like a curse. Somewhere behind you, officers are still trying to organize the ranks, but the line already feels fragile, unfinished, exposed. Then an arrow slams into a shield 3 men away. Another buries itself in the ground at your feet. Then another. The mist isn't empty. It is alive. And now it is shooting back. The man beside you mutters a prayer under his breath. You grip the shield until your hand goes numb. Because now you understand exactly where you are. And understanding changes everything. The first wave does not arrive with honor, it arrives with noise. A roar tears through the fog, sudden and animal, followed by the thunder of bodies sprinting downhill. Your line jerks as men brace. "Hold!" someone screams. "Hold!" But the ground is slick, your sandals slide, and your breathing is already too fast. You can hear them before you fully see them, shouting, pounding, crashing through brush, shields slamming against branches, spears rattling like bones. Then they appear, faces painted, hair wild with rain and sweat, cloaks whipping through the grey. They hit the front ranks like a storm hitting a door. The impact runs through every shield in the line until it reaches your bones. Your arm almost folds. Men grunt, curse, stagger. The sound is unbearable. Wood cracking, iron scraping, voices breaking into raw panic. Someone goes down. You do not see how. The line bends, not breaks, not yet. A centurion forces men forward with pure fury, shoving the formation back into shape. Push, push now. You obey because the man next to you obeys. Your boots dig into mud. Your shoulder screams. The shield wall groans under pressure. Through a gap you catch a pair of terrified eyes staring back at you from the other side, just before the gap closes in a violent shove. This is the moment every story skips. Not glory, not triumph, just weight, noise, breath, fear, and the sickening realization that if the line opens even once, there will be no escape for anyone standing inside it. Rain begins, thin at first, then harder, cold needles on your face, running under your collar, turning the ground beneath you into slick black paste. The battlefield changes in seconds. Boots lose grip. Orders vanish into wind. Torches die one by one. The world shrinks to the shield in front of your face and the chaos pressing against it. Somewhere on the right, a trumpet sounds the wrong signal, or maybe the right one, heard too late. The line shifts. Men turn their heads. That is enough. A section of the formation opens, not much, just enough for terror to slip inside. You hear it before. You see it, screaming from within your own ranks, not from the front, from the side. Enemy warriors have broken through the trees and crashed into the flank. Now the line is no longer a wall. It is fragments, pockets, men fighting back to back with no room to breathe. You spin as bodies slam into you from every direction. A soldier with a bloodless, stunned face stumbles past, helmet gone, reaching for a standard that is no longer there. A horse bolts through the confusion, eyes white, dragging, broken harness and panic behind it. "Fall back," someone shouts. "No, forward," another voice yells. Which command do you follow? Which voice is real? The rain turns everything into blur and shadow. Your heartbeat is louder than the battle now. And for the first time, a thought enters your mind that feels colder than the storm itself. Rome may not save you tonight. You run 3 steps with the others, then stop, because there is nowhere to run. The camp behind you is no refuge anymore. Smoke rises. From within it, the outer barricade is collapsing in places. Men who tried to retreat are already being shoved back into the fight by fear, fire, and sheer human pressure. You are trapped between 2 disasters. Stay in the line and be crushed, or flee and be swallowed. A young soldier grabs your wrist. His face is hardly older than yours, eyes wide, lips trembling. He says something you barely catch over the noise. "Stay with me." Not because he knows you, because he cannot bear to be alone. You nod before thinking. The 2 of you push behind a broken cart, shields raised, gasping for air that tastes like rain, ash, and iron. Beyond the wreckage, the standard of your unit is wavering. If it falls, the last thread of order goes with it. The young soldier looks at you, waiting. Follow the standard, hide until dawn, run into the trees and pray the darkness swallows you first. Every choice feels wrong. Every second costs something. Then a centurion, limping, bleeding from the brow, staggers onto the wreckage and raises his sword toward the failing line. "With me, now!" he roars. His voice cuts through everything. It is madness. It is courage. It is the final command before the world decides who survives. And somehow, despite the terror freezing your lungs, your legs begin to move toward him. You charge because stopping would mean feeling too much. Mud sprays under your sandals, your shield pounds against your ribs. Men gather around the centurion in a desperate knot of discipline, a last small piece of Rome refusing to vanish. He points toward the standard, now half lost in smoke and bodies. "Take it back," he shouts. "Not hold, not defend. Take back." The words light something reckless inside everyone still standing. You slam into the chaos with the others, no longer a spectator, no longer confused, only moving. The world narrows into flashes, a shield edge, a scream, the crash of bodies, a glimpse of red cloth in the storm dark. You cannot think in history anymore, only in seconds. 1 second to keep your footing, 1 second to breathe, 1 second to survive the next push. The young soldier is still beside you until suddenly he is not. You turn and see him on one knee, staring at you in shock, hand outstretched as the crowd surges between you. You want to reach back, you do not, you cannot. The line drives forward, and if you stop now, both of you are gone. Ahead, the standard is falling. A Roman bearer, exhausted and half-crushed, is losing his grip. The centurion lunges. So do you. Hands collide on wood slick with rain. For one suspended instant, under thunder and screams and the violent breath of battle, you are holding the weight of a symbol bigger than your own life. And everyone around you knows it. Then everything breaks at once. The centurion goes down under the crush of bodies, disappearing so fast it feels impossible. The standard jerks sideways. The man holding it screams for the gods, for Rome, for anyone. You drag it back by instinct, stumbling through mud so deep it tries to swallow your legs. Around you, men are falling not because they choose to, but because the field itself has become an enemy, slick, crowded, blind with rain. You lose the shield. You do not even feel it leave your arm. 1 second it is there, the next it is gone, and the cold air hits your side like a warning. No escape. That phrase keeps hammering in your skull. No escape. Ahead is chaos. Behind is fire. To your left, the trees. To your right, the last Romans still trying to stand like a line instead of a grave. You hear the centurion's last command repeating in your mind, though his voice is gone now. With me. Now. You plant your feet beside the standard and turn, breathing hard, chest burning, every instinct telling you to run. But something deeper stops you. Pride, terror, loyalty to men you met an hour ago. It does not matter. You stay. And in staying, you finally understand battle. It is not glory. It is choosing one impossible thing over another and living with that choice for as long as your body allows. The next wave is already coming through the rain. You wipe water from your eyes and prepare to meet it. You do not remember how long the final moments last. Time has broken apart. There is only impact after impact, command after command, breath after breath. The standard leans against your shoulder like a burden and a promise. Men rally to it. Not many. Enough. You form a ragged circle. Shields mismatched, faces pale, mouths open with exhaustion. Around you, the battle is dissolving into isolated struggles, little worlds of terror swallowed by darkness and weather. The young soldier appears again out of nowhere, covered in mud, limping, alive. He says nothing. He just takes his place beside you. That almost breaks you more than the fear. You hold because he holds. He holds because you do. And for a few impossible minutes, the world narrows into that simple exchange of will. Then the horn sounds from somewhere behind the enemy line. A different note, a withdrawal, a regrouping. You do not trust it. No one does. The shapes in the storm begin to pull back, not in defeat, but in calculation. The field falls into a silence so sudden it feels louder than battle. Men collapse where they stand. Others remain frozen, too afraid to believe it is over. You are still breathing. That surprises you. Your hands will not unclench from the standard. Dawn finally breaks. Through the clouds in weak grey bands, and the battlefield reveals itself piece by piece. Not triumph, not safety, just survival. And sometimes, in war, that is the only victory left. Morning finds you standing among ghosts. Smoke drifts low over the ruined camp. The rain has stopped, but everything still drips. Canvas, shields, hair, fingertips, memory. The men who survived do not cheer, they do not celebrate. They count, they search, they stare at empty spaces where voices should be. The young soldier sits in the mud, with both hands over his face, shaking in silence. You want to comfort him, but your own body feels borrowed. You look down at the armor on your chest, at the grime packed into every joint, at the trembling in your hands that will not stop. Yesterday this would have been a costume in a movie, a page in a book, a distant empire reduced to names and dates. But now you know what history really weighs. It weighs as much as wet iron on tired shoulders. It sounds like horns. Before sunrise, it smells like smoke after rain. It feels like surviving something that should have taken you two. A senior officer walks past, sees the standard still in your grip, and nods once. No praise, no speech, just acknowledgement. In this world, that is enough. You lift your eyes to the pale horizon, and for the first time since waking, you understand the cruel truth hidden inside every ancient victory. Rome was not built by legends. It was built by terrified men who kept moving when it was already too late. And now you know exactly what that cost.